This is Courage Barbell, and I'm your host, Chad Ikes. Today, I want to talk about one of the key things that allowed me to become as great in powerlifting as I was. Kind of on the retired side of it now. A lot of lifters, and I think even humans, I think we tend to gravitate into our own little bubble, and in that bubble, that's all we see. And one of the things that epically changed me was the realization that all the people around me, all the people at the gyms I was training at, were not where I wanted to be. And they were not going to necessarily help me get where I wanted to be. What I'm saying is I trained in local gyms, and I was listening to all the people around me that had more experience than I had, which is actually good to a certain extent. If you're only going to listen to people that are a little bit better than you, you're only going to get a little bit better. And once I started really researching who I wanted to learn from, and I went to some seminars with Dave Tate, Elite FTS, and started meeting higher level lifters, I realized that you don't necessarily have to surround yourself with these people, but those are the people you need to be listening to. So when I first started training, I had ideas. I had other ideas from my throwing background and from physical therapy and stuff that I wanted to try, but I would look around and I go, okay, nobody else is doing this. So apparently, I guess I'm wrong, and these ideas are dumb. And when I did go to my first Elite FTS seminar, he kept mentioning things that I had thought about and contemplated. I didn't necessarily know how to put them together at the time, but I was thinking about them. But instead of pursuing them further, I looked around me and I go, well, no one else is doing this. Like, this must be the right way to do it. That's what all these people are doing. And keep in mind, we had some decent lifters in the gym, but we didn't have any great lifters in the gym. I wanted to be a great lifter. I wanted to compete on the biggest stage. I wanted to be attempting world records and getting world records and going to nationals and world competitions. So as I started my journey, and as I started researching people that I wanted to learn from and paying attention to people I wanted to learn from and paying attention to better and better and better people, and stopped listening to the guys in the gym. I guess I shouldn't say completely stopped, because we did have a few really exceptional lifters, and I would always go to those guys, and I always listened, but I also kept in mind where the information was coming from. Like, a guy who benches 225, the odds are I'm not going to get all that much good information out of him when I want to bench 8 and 900. So I kept that in mind when I was talking and dealing with other people. And the funny thing is that once I did come back to the gym with way more knowledge and started training, everybody was curious. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, that doesn't make sense. No, I don't want to do that. I've never heard of that. And it's like, well, this is information I didn't just pull out of my butt. Like, I actually learned this from guys that know what they're talking about. But everyone else was so afraid to change because it wasn't what they were used to. Everyone was stuck in that little bubble of what they were used to. And as I started building my team, there were guys I had to bet a guy, and he lost the bet, so he had to start training with me. I had a guy who actually couldn't lift heavy anymore due to injury, and I said, listen, if you want to lift heavy, start training with me. We'll get this stuff fixed. You'll be able to lift heavy again. And he did get to that point where he could lift heavy again. There was a few people that came up that were just curious, and they start trying, and they would kind of like, I don't know, but like, you guys are making a lot of progress, and they would start trying it, and then eventually they're like, okay, I'm sold. another interesting story is I had a friend who was not a friend at the time. He lived down in Arizona, but who was up here for work. And he started training at the gym, and he was training with one of the other groups of guys in the gym. And eventually, at one point, he tells me this story later. He's like, yeah, I asked all those guys, they're like, isn't that Chad Ikes over there? And they're like, yeah, it's Chad Ikes. And he's like, why aren't you training with him? Like, he's one of the best in the world. And they're like, oh, those guys are pretty hardcore. They're really intense. I don't know about that. And so he eventually was like, well, that just seems dumb to me, so I'm going to go talk to him. So he came over and he started asking me questions and stuff. And I was like, man, if you want to like do a session with us or train with us or whatever, just let me know. It's not a big deal, man, as long as you pitch in and, you know, you're throwing plates and helping everybody else out too. And so he took us up on it. And to this day, he's back down in Arizona and he has his own gym now and he's coaching people. And every now and then I get texts from him saying, man, thank you. I learned so much from training with you for that time, and I'm still using that information and I'm passing it on, and like, which is all really cool stuff. But he was not stuck in that bubble that he was in. He was willing to go, well, wait a minute, I want to look at, you know, who are the guys that are the best? These guys are great, but like, that's one of the best. Why am I not training with that guy? And so it's easy for humans to get caught in our own bubble, to get caught in doing what we're used to doing and not opening our minds to change. And it's logical. It's logical. Do I want to learn how to be a world record holder from somebody who's never even come close to breaking a world record? Or do I want to learn that from somebody who's actually been through it and experienced that? That seems like pretty common sense to me. But then why are so many people not doing it? Why was I afraid at first to branch out? Why did it take me actually going to train with other top guys and going, wait a minute, I need to have a little more confidence in myself and I need to listen to these guys, not these other guys. And then let's bring that into today's era of internet and just extreme amounts of information out there. But of that information, there's so much of it that's bullshit. There's so many people out there that do have just amazing genetics, and pretty much whatever they do, they're going to be successful. And then there's people out there successful in terms of, hey, that guy's pretty lean, that guy's kind of strong, I'm going to follow him. Well, is he really that strong? I mean, look at what the guy has and what he's worked with. Who has he coached? How many guys have you seen that he's done that do really well? Like all that kind of stuff, actually checking out someone's background. And then you have the guys out there that the fact is we're all trying to make some money. I would rather get out of some of my other jobs and make this my full-time job. I just can't do that by selling my soul. And I'll do another video later on that. And I don't blame guys for trying to make a living. They're trying to make a living. And sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear the same shit they always heard in that bubble. But they want to hear it from somebody better so they can say, oh, see, this is what he said. So I know there are guys out there that actually have great knowledge and do a lot of stuff, but they need to make a living. And if they come out and flat out tell you and it's not what you want to hear, they're going to be struggling. You know? So you can't really blame them for that. And then there's guys out there that have their own programs and they're trying to push their own programs. Which isn't a bad thing either, because I'm sure they believe in their own programs. But are they open to really finding what you need as an individual? So you just got to kind of be careful, and you got to weed through everything and keep in mind that, like, some of the magazines, some of the companies, they're trying to sell shit. And if they're trying to sell shit, just be a little bit aware of that. And then when you're reading about like big time gyms and stuff, they're selling programs too a lot of times. They're selling their style, their way. But what you don't hear is what's actually going on in that gym and how different people in that gym train differently. Or there's one main coach who gets a lot of credit for everything, but the credit actually came from tons of other guys that were in there who are actually doing a little different stuff than what he's coaching. So it's a mess. It's a mess to weed through. My thing is go to the people if you can. There are plenty of people out there. I'm trying to start doing more seminars. I'm actually planning on going to attending a couple other seminars of lifters that I know that I like, that I'm willing, even at my level, I'm still willing to go to one of their seminars with a complete open mind and see what more I can learn. But go directly to those people if you have a chance to contact those people directly, if you have a chance to meet with them directly. Like look at better people, try to get better. As you get better, you're going to go to competitions, you're going to compete against better people, you're going to meet those people, actually learn what they're doing. And Instagram can be such a tricky thing. This is another point where people are trying to grow their Instagrams, and I'm trying to do that too. So you start looking at algorithms and when you should post stuff and what you should post. And so people go, oh, well, he trains this much because he just posted another video. Well, you don't know that video is from that day. You don't know when he shot that video. You don't know if that's actually his training. Maybe he's taking videos and then spreading them out for his algorithm to grow his Instagram. So don't always look at that stuff and assume that that's exactly what they're doing. Try to go to them. And a lot of guys, like I offer everything from online training to online consultations. Like I have guys send me a bunch of videos, then we'll hook up for an hour and a half FaceTime or something like that. And I'll review their videos, ask me questions directly, and we can just talk and answer it out. And you can get a lot of information from that if you're listening to the right people. Joe Schmo in the gym that benches 225 isn't the guy you should be talking to bench 500. So I just kind of wanted to speak about that today because that is a major factor in my progression as an athlete and becoming a lifter that was putting up some of the greatest numbers in history. And that transformation didn't really start till I went to the top, till I went to the guys that knew what they were doing and talked to them directly. And I know seminars can kind of be expensive and traveling and all that stuff, but it's some of the best money and best time you're ever going to invest in your strength. And that goes for everybody. I had one of my best partners that traveled with me all the time, came to me and said, listen, here's the deal. I got a family. I got trashed by a bull, so I have all these injuries. This is how much time I have, but I want to do the best I can with that time. And that was one of the greatest things to me. So I don't care if your goal is 300. Do you want to get there efficiently, safely, and build better quality muscle for the quality of life as well? Then learn from the best. Don't learn from Joe Schmo. Like, don't learn from the gym bro. It's worth the time, it's worth the investment, no matter what your goal is, no matter what level you get. Why not get there faster? Why not get there more efficiently? Why not get there safer? All right, guys. I'm working on some new stuff. I got a new podcast deal here I'm trying to figure out. Get you guys a little better quality stuff coming out. So please like this video, subscribe to this channel, comment on this channel, which I'm behind on comments again. So I'll try to catch up on those soon. And yeah, please go to Courage Barbell, purchase some apparel. We got water bottles up. I got some New Jersey type shorts I'm trying to get done. We got more t-shirts up. I got a couple more t-shirts coming out. Chad and Doug t-shirts right here is one of my favorite ones. Instagram, Chad Ikes, and I'm going to wrap this up and let you guys go, and I will talk to you next time. I'm out.